Hello everyone, welcome to Geeks and Geeks channel. This session is going to introduce an assembly language program for to find smallest and largest number from an array of 32-bit number using LPC2148 based on ARM7 cores. So let me give you a brief introduction how to write an assembly language program in a Keil Microvision 4 editor. Okay. So first of all, to create a project, we need to click on the project here in the menu bar and click on new Microvision project. Okay. Once you do that, it will ask you to create a project file. Okay. So you can create your own folder here. Let me create a folder here in any workspace. Okay. Create a folder here, new folder. I'll write test project. Okay. Test project, and you can give the name of that particular project. In that particular folder I'm giving the name. Okay, I will give it as test, and you can see the extension of the project file will be .uvproc. Okay, Microvision project. Save it. Once you save it, it will ask you for the selection of the microcontroller. Here you have to go for this NXP founded by Philips, and here we have to check for LPC2148 because for all the programs we are writing an assembly language program for LPC2148 based on ARM7 cores. Okay, based on ARM7 core. So we have to select LPC2148, search for that LPC2148 here. You can find it here, and you can see the description here. It is an ARM7 TDMIS based high performance 32-bit. See, all the registers are 32-bit. Of course, the ALU, everything is 32-bit here, and it is a RISC microcontroller, reduced instruction set computer. Okay, RISC microcontroller with the thumb extension, 512 KB on chip, flash ROM with the ISP, that is in system programming and in application programming, 32 KB RAM. We have 32 kilobyte of RAM. Okay, it is a vectored interrupt control, and there are several other information which is related to LPC2148. Now once you select that LPC2148, you have to click on OK. Okay, as you can see here, I had already selected it, right? Okay, click on OK. Okay, then it will ask for this prompt: copy Philips LPC2100 startup code to project folders and add file to project. For all the software projects you can click no. For all the hardware projects, okay, we have to click on yes. We require the startup.s project folder, but as of now I'm clicking on no. Once you do that, you can see one target folder got created here, and in that you can see also there is a source group 1. So this is the group in which we need to add up our ASM file, that is the assembly file here. Okay, now once you get this, we have to click on here file new or create an empty document here. Okay, now I'm going to write one small program for data transfer instructions. So as you can see here, I had written one small program for data transfer operations here. Okay, so once I write this program, you need to save this program. Okay, you can click here save the program and save it in the same folder in which you have created your project file, that is a test project folder, and here you can name the name of your program. Okay, I will write it as test itself, test.asm. This is an assembly program. .asm is extension for every assembly language program. Save it. So once you save it, you can see everything. There are some colors and all it has come because it indicates various types of data here. So all this these are the data hash, whatever you give, R3, R1, these are all the registers. Okay, now let me explain you this program. So this program is a very simple program to show you the demonstration of all the data transfer operations here. So you can see TTL, this is an assembler directive, and this is nothing but the name of your program, and this is the code segment area. Okay, the name of the area is proc. Okay, and this is a code segment and it is mapped to read only. This is an entry point in which we are going to write the logic of the code, right? And this is the start and stop labels which is left justified, and the logic of the code we are writing towards the right. At least one tab space has to be given here. Okay, now, and you can see there are I am using R0, R1, R2, R3, 4 registers I am using just for the demonstration purpose. Here you can see the value of 1 is added to is moved to the R0, and you can see the hexadecimal value. Whatever the number you write with 0x, it is nothing but a hexadecimal, and when it gets stored in R1, it is showing you the 32-bit value. Okay, because all the registers in ARM7 are of 32-bit numbers. Okay, similarly, when you store the data, it is going to, what does R2 will store? R2 is not going to store 21. R2 is going to store the hexadecimal of 21, and the hexadecimal of 21 is a 15. Okay, because 16 ones are 16, what is the remainder is 5, so 1 and 5, 1 5 will be stored. So it will store it in 0x00000015. Okay, and if you want to copy the register from one data from one register to another register, you can use these operations and all. Okay, and this is to load and store the data, because only two operations is involved in the memory, that is to load and store. Load is to load the data from the memory to the register, and store is to store the data from the register to the memory. Okay, it's a simple program. However, in the future sessions, I'm going to explain you each and every single instructions. Okay, anyways, so once you write this program, you have to click on this target folder, double click on the source group 1. It will ask you for the assembly file here. Check for the files of type, select ASM file here. Okay, once you select ASM source file here, click on that particular file, test.asm, click on add. Once you click on add, close. Okay, and please verify that it has been added to the group successfully or not. That is test.asm. Once it is added, now it's time to compile the program. Okay, compile the program. Here you can translate it. You can see there are 0 errors and 0 warnings, and then you have to click on this build. Okay, once you have built the program, you have to click on debug. This is a debugging session, and when you click on this debug, click on OK here. You can see several windows. There are register windows, disassembly window, text editor window, command window, and there is a memory window also. Okay, and if you want to see the memory, you can click on here, memory 1. Okay, watch 1, UART cables and UART serial windows also, you can see it here. And to see that, you can click on view here. Okay, if the memory window is not coming, you can click on view, and you can see there are several windows, whichever you would like to have it. All the UART windows, you can see it in the serial windows. Memory windows, you can see it here, memory 1, 2, 3 and 4. Like to see the outputs and all, you can make use of these options here. Okay, and if you want to increase the font of this program, you can directly go to edit, go to configuration. Okay, in the configuration, you have to go to this colors and font, and click on this ARM editor ASM files, and click on this Korean new. Okay, and here you can increase the size of the program. Click on OK. Okay, and you can see that there is a change in the size of the font size of the program. Now to trace the program, we can just see some options here. Okay, you can see step F11 or F10. Okay, now to go for a single step line by line execution, you can see it here. You can go through here, move R0, 1, and you can see the results here. See here, look at here, R1 0x21. Okay, now you see what is the value stored in R2. It is 15. Hexadecimal of 21 is 15. R3 will store the same value as that of R1, R0. Okay, and you're loading and storing. Okay, that is going to use some of the registers. So when you use the LDR R0, R1, that means you're loading the data from the memory to the register. So you're loading the data, okay, in the which is pointed by R1, the content of that R1. Content of R1 will have the data, and that data is stored in memory, that you're going to load it in a register R0. Similarly, R0 data, you can also send it back to the memory using STR, okay, instructions. So this is how we are going to debug the programs here. Fine. Okay, now let us proceed with the program. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this session, I'm going to write an assembly language program to find out the largest and the smallest in the given set of numbers. Okay. Now, before we proceed further, let me show you what are the numbers we are going to have it here. Okay. The numbers are all in 32-bit numbers. These are all 32-bit numbers because we can see the 8 numbers. 0x stands for, that is a hexadecimal number, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because each digit represents 4-bit. So there are 8 numbers represents 32-bit. So these are all 32-bit hexadecimal numbers, right? And it is stored in a the variable array. Okay, so for you it is a variable, but actually it stores in a memory. Okay, so I can call this array as the name of that memory. Okay, and we are given DCD, that is define constant data. So define constant data, if you give each data, it will reserve this number in a 4 bytes location. Okay, it will do it in this way: 33 33 33 33, above one above the other. So it will give 4 locations to store one single data. Okay, now you can see here altogether there are 10 data. Okay, 0 starts from first one is 33, next 2 2 2 2, 5 5 1 1 1 1, 4 4 4 4, 7 7, FF 9 9, 8 8, and 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2. So among these numbers, our aim is to find out which is the largest number and the smallest number. Okay, so it is very clear that among this, the smallest number is this 1111, and the largest number is, of course, in hexadecimal is always FFFF. Okay, so these two should be the output of today's program. So let us see how we are going to write this logic in assembly language program. Fine. Now, first of all, we can see the line here, the TTL, largest or smallest number. So this is nothing but the title of the program. TTL is an assembler directive which will direct the assembler, saying that whatever is written besides me will be considered as the title of the program. Okay, after that we have to write the code segment area, and the name of that area is large and small. Okay, so this is the name of the code segment area, and it is mapped to read only. Right, after that starts with the entry, and then with all the labels here, start, up, stop here. So these are all the labels here, and you can see all the labels are left justified. And to write the logic of the code, we have to give at least one tab space minimum. Okay, now I had shown you this is the data segment. This is a data segment area. Okay, this is the data segment area here. Okay, till here, all till here. And you can see in the data segment we have initialized, okay, in the by the name array. Okay, by the name array we have stored all the numbers, okay, among which we need to select now which is the largest and the smallest, and it is even aligned. Aligned means one after the other. Okay, one after the other, right? 3 3 3 3, because see, one single memory location to store, we have, it is a maximum size is 8 bits or 1 byte. So first it will store this 3 3, above that it will store another 3 3, then 3 3, then 3 3. In that fashion it does. Okay, it is aligned one after the other. Okay, similarly all these numbers are also going to get stored. I will show you in the memory window in a later stage while executing. Okay, these are all aligned. Similarly, we have one more data segment area here by the name DST. This is the name is SRT. This is a source, this is a destination. Okay, the destination is one in which we are going to store our final answer, that is LS. At present it is 0. So here also we are reserving one memory location, that is 4 bytes of memory location by the label LS, and in all the 4 locations we are assigned the value 0 at the initial stage. Later on we are going to store the final result in this. Okay, and this is also been aligned. Aligned means in what way the data are getting stored. I will tell you how the data are getting stored when you give a 32-bit number. Okay, now let us start the program. So I hope you all understood this is a data segment area and this is the code segment area. Okay, that is why we have written it as code and here we written it as data. Okay, now what we need to do first here. See, as I told you already in my first lecture, first session on to write an assembly language program for sum of integers. Okay, we need to know the address of that particular memory location so that we'll be able to either load the data or to store the data. Because we know that only two types of operations happens in a memory, that is load or store. Loading means we are loading the data from the register to the memory. Okay, from the memory to the register, and storing is we are storing the data from the register to the memory. Okay, load is to load the data from the memory to the register. Store is from the register to the memory. So now we need to load the address of that location, that is array. We need to know, because to access these numbers, right, we need to know its address, and that is what we do it here in the first line of instruction. Equal to array, here equal to stands for address of that location, and we store it in R0. And meanwhile we take the first 9 digits, okay, 0 to 9, it gives you 10, and that value 9 we are going to store it in R1 so that we can iterate all the numbers here. So if there are 10 numbers, there is n minus 1 iterations, okay, n minus 1, because this and this will be taken first, and then this and this will be taken second, and this and this will be taken third. So if there are 10 numbers, that will be n minus 1 iteration. That's the value is 9 here, okay, and hash represents the data, and that we are going to store it in a register R1. Fine. And of course we also need to store the ls here, okay, ls, that's a label which is initialized to 0 to this particular R2, okay, that is also required for us. Okay, so I'm going to store the address of that ls in the register R2. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use load register, okay, load register R3 comma content of R0 comma hash 4. Now what does this line of instruction represent here? This represents the post index register here. You can see what exactly it does is it is going to give you the content, okay, that means it is going to give you the data which is stored in a memory location which is addressed by R0, which is addressed by R0. Now R0 is addressed to which one? Address of array, that is a base address. Base address means this particular data. So your array is pointing to this particular data. This is the base data. This is the first data. No, it is at the bottom now. So it is pointing to this data. Okay, right? Now it is pointing to that data, and that data I need to store it in R3. Okay, directly I can write like this. This is wrong. If I write like this, what is stored in R3? R3 is storing the address of that location. I don't want the address. I want the data which is addressed by that pointer R0. Now in that case, I need to write content of. Give me the data which is pointed by that array. Okay. So that is the 3333333. Okay, that is stored in R3. Now I need to increment my pointer to 4 bytes towards up. Okay, so this is called as post index register. So what it does means it will operate in this way. See, first it is going to load R0 to R3. Okay, first it is going to load, it will load R0, okay, R0 to, okay, the content, or I can write load the content of R0 to R3 and increment the pointer to 4 bytes. Increment the pointer to 4 bytes. Now of course we can understand that we need to compare this number with this number, and to jump from this number to this number I need to go 4 steps higher. Why? Because I told you whenever you use DCD, it will take 4 bytes of memory location, because this full number cannot be stored in one single memory location. We can't do that, right? Because each location is only 1 byte, right? Now, first byte. Now to go from 2 to 2 to, what I need to do? I am here now, 3. This is the first step. Okay, this is the first step. Okay, this is the second step. This is the third step. And this is the fourth step. That means 4 bytes further. That is why I written hash 4 here. Okay, I load the content of that R0 pointed by R0 to R3, then I incremented that R0 pointer with the 4. So what is stored in R3 now? R3 is storing 0x33333333. Similarly, R4 should hold the next value, yes or no? Now you are telling content of R0. R0 has already reached to this particular data. Now R0 is what is the value stored in R4 now? R4 also is storing 0x22222222. Correct, and this is also post index register. So definitely now the pointer is pointing to this location because of 4 bytes up, right? Now you compare that R3 with the R4. So why do I need to compare? To check whether the number is greater than 0 or less than 0. Now R3 is storing 3, R4 is storing 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So of course we are checking for this condition here. Move on lower on same. Move the R4 to R3 if it is lower or same. If it is lower or same, that means my first job here with respect to LS, it is to find the highest number. Okay, now 3 minus 2 is how much? 3 minus 2 is 1. Is it lower or same? No, It is lower means is it less than 0? No. Okay, is it same means equal to 0? No, definitely. That means do not swap the numbers, means don't copy the number of R4 to R3. Move further. Okay, now your first iteration is over. So subtract R1 comma R1 comma 1. This is a triadic instruction here. So what it does is it will subtract R1 with 1 and stores back in R1. Okay, now check for the iteration. Compare R1 with 0. Have we done with all the iterations? No, of course not, because 9 minus 1 will give you 8. Whether 8 is 8 minus 0 is 0? No, 8 minus 0 is 8 itself. So is it not equal? Of course it is not equal. Then you go to this particular label up and please follow all these instructions again and again until this R1 is equal to 9. That means you completed all the iteration. Okay, in each iteration we try to find the largest number. Now let me tell you, 3 and 2 we are not swapped because among 3 and 2, 3 is the largest number. Okay, now let me go with the 2 and 5. 2 and 5. Okay, so first number is 2, second number is 5. If I take this as an example, okay, 2 and 5. Now what happens 2 and 5 if I take? Assume that in R3 we are storing 2, in R4 we are storing 5. So R3 minus R4, 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is what? Minus 3. If it is minus 3, is it lower or same? It is lower. It is lower. It need not to be same always. It is lower. That means definitely that value from R4 I am going to shift it to the R3. That means among 2 and 5, which is the largest number I am storing it in R3? 5. So remember one thing here, R3 should hold the final result. R3 should hold the final result. Okay, now in the first iteration final result was 3. In the second iteration final result is 5. Yes or no? Like that it keeps on checking for each and every alternate values, and finally the R3 will always hold the highest number when you have LS here. Okay, that is how we do here. Once it is done, once we are done with all the iterations, okay, at that time this will not work for you, because once it is equal, definitely B and A will not satisfy. It will come to this line of instructions. Okay, what do we do here? So here, as I already mentioned you, that this LS is holding the address of that memory location to which we need to store our final result. Yes or no? Now do that. Load that address in R0. Okay, and store your final answer, that is which is stored in R3, to the content of that R0. It's very, very clear. Content of that R0 means what? R0 is a pointer. Okay, okay, in which is addressing to the particular memory location. Right, now to content, now store that R3 into the content of that R0. Right, R3 will be holding the final result. What is the final result? In our case, among all this value, the highest value is this one, 0x f. Okay, this is the highest value. So that is going to get stored in this particular memory. As I already mentioned, only two operations, right? Load and store. Have we done any other operations with the memory in this program? Nowhere. Either we had used LDR or we had used STR, load register or store register. Okay, then we are going to stop it. See, this is going to be it's like it is going to loop forever here, right? Stop be stop means of course branch on stop, again it will come here, again it will come here. Okay, it will keep on moving. So other instructions is not going to work. So this is how we write assembly language program to find the largest number. Now if you want to check for the lowest number, then in place of this LS you just put HI. You need not to rewrite the program. You just change from LS to HI. High. HI means high. Now what happens here? 3 and 2 will get swapped. So R3 will hold 2. Next time 2 and 5 again 2. It will not swap. Like that. When 2 is compared with 1, then 1 will be swapped. So finally R3 will hold the smallest number here. Okay, no need to change the program, just change from LS to HI. LS will give, move LS will give you the highest number, move HI will give you the lowest number or smallest number among the numbers what you had given it here. Okay, this is how the program works. Now let us execute this program. Okay, to execute this program, first we need to save the program, and we have to translate this program. After that we need to build the program. Okay, 0 errors and 0 warnings. Then we will click on debug mode. Okay, this is an evaluation version of Keel Editor. Now as you can see, we have got several windows where you can see the registers here. Okay, this is a disassembly window, text editor, memory window, and a command window. Okay, now let us execute line by line. Now you can see, look at these registers when it is going to trace the code. The first one is R0. R0 is holding what? Address of that array where you have given the numbers, and that is this one, 0x00000040. Okay. Next, R1 is 9. As I told you, if you have 10 numbers, there are n minus 1 iterations, that is 9. R2 is holding the address of that ls. Okay. Right. R2 is holding that address now. Okay. This is the address. And of course, you see that R0 is holding what? 3333. Sorry, R3. R3 is holding the first number, as I already mentioned you, because R0 is pointing to the base address. In the base address, what data is stored? 3333, right? Next you see, when R0 comes, it will come what? 22222. Okay, because R0 has stored whatever is there in the R0, it is stored in R3, and it is incremented by 4 bytes so that you can get the second data. So this is the way it works. Okay, move hi. So now we are going for the smallest number. You can see here, R3 should hold the smallest number. You can keep focusing on this R3 register here. Okay. Yeah, look at here. So 2 and 5. Again, R3 is not swapping. R3 is still 2. Now you see, R3 gets swapped here. See, 1, 1, 1, 1. Because among 2 and 1, 1 is the smallest number, right? And after that, I think it is not going to copy the number from R4 to R3, because 1 is the smallest among all. Okay, it is not affecting only. So R3 is not at all getting affected. 1 with F, no. 1 with 9, no. See, 1 with 8, no. And I think this is the last number. So we are done. Now it is not equal. So of course this condition fails, and now it's time to load the address of this ls to R0. And you can see here, R0 value has got its original address, right? This was the address, right? Now we are going to store the result R3 to the R0. And guys, you can just look at here in a memory window. In the memory window, you can see it here. Okay, look at here, 0x400000. Okay, in this address, right? R0. What is the data stored? 11111111. See. This is aligned way. Okay, each memory location will hold maximum 1 byte of data. Okay, together it can't store 1 byte of data. Now what I will do is, I'll just stop this and I will change it to ls. Move ls. Move if lower or same. If lower or same, what happens? So I will compile the code again, build the program. Okay, and I click on debugger, click on OK. You see there is a change in R3 and R4. Look at here now. 3 and 2, nothing is going to change because it is holding the largest number. Among 3 and 2 and 5, 5. Okay. Now you see R3 will always hold the largest number. 5 and 4, no. 5 and 7, yes, it will swap. Yeah, 7 is stored in R3. Similarly, you just keep observing. F and 7, of course, F will store in R3. R3 should hold the largest number, that's all. F and 9, no. Now onwards it will not hold the any other values because F is the largest among all. Okay, I think it's done. Now you can see the value here in this register in the memory window. You can see. If you're not getting this window, just click on here. Okay, view. Okay, view and click on this memory 1. In the view, you can see the memory window, and these options will come only when you are in a debugging mode. Okay, in the normal mode you will not get it. Memory 1. Right, FFFF. So this is your final answer here. Okay, I hope you all understood this program. If you have any queries regarding this, you can drop your comments in the comment section below. Thank you so much.